especially in college basketball, guard play, if you really want to have one of those teams, you better have good guards. And when you're talking point guards, we've had all kind of different types of point guards. This year, I think we have 3 guys that easily can play point guard. And there may be times that all 3 of them play at one time. I've done that before when we had Jamal, Isaiah, and Tyler. We played 3 point guards. And your teams, there's things you give up, but there's things you gain. And but when you have more than one, you know, something happens, whether it's foul trouble, injuries, or anything else. You have room because you have more than one. So Tyrese and Ashton are going right at each other. I mean, it's great to see. But Emmanuel's not even the same player. I mean, I had someone come in and watch his practice and say he's not even the same guy. And the reason is he's in a different frame of mind. It's kind of like when PJ came back. PJ came back, it's not that he just came back. He came back with a different mentality. He came back with a change of how he responded and how he saw things. Emmanuel seems to be that guy right now. Now he's building his own confidence. I can't give him confidence. I can't help him gain confidence. He's got to build it himself. Then you got to get in the games and you got to have demonstrated performance. You got to do something in the games that convinces you, not me, that I got this. So, but he's done great. But I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited. I feel refreshed. Like this team, great group of kids, a little bit thin, 9 guys on scholarship playing. Dante would be 10. I mean, I know we have 13, but I usually don't give 13, but we usually have enough to practice with. We're a little light. But some of the best teams I've coached weren't full rosters. And guys, you have to be in the game, and it helps them, their own mentality, especially young kids. I told him Sunday night that, he's a good basketball player. He's got a good feel for the game. Physically, he has to catch up. He knows. He's learning things that he's never seen before, but he's taking it all in. He's long, he's active, he plays rough. He just, physically, his body's got to catch up to everything else. But I even told him he may play some stretch 4 for us because he gives us that length and size and ability to space the court. And it's hard for 4s to guard him. Even EJ struggles to guard him at times. Like, he can do things with that ball. And in a lot of stuff, he starts like he's a guard, but he's big, 6'9". Right now, he's really playing well, and he's playing confident, and obviously the expectation is this is his time. He played against 2 Mooses last year. They could take your confidence away. But he right now, what he's doing on the court and how he's playing, whether he goes against EJ, whether he goes against Nate, scoring around the basket, shooting the ball better, running, he's in the best shape I've seen him in. But again, you got to get on the court, and now you're playing against a player that's a football player that's trying to just say, I know I can't play you, I'm going to try to rough you up. Can you hold your ground? Can you sustain your confidence in that kind of situation? Till we start playing games, who will know. Now, my hope is he's ready for it. He's been here, has a smile on his face. He's a beautiful kid. He's one of the nicest people we've had here. And, there's no one rooting for him more than me. He goes right at Johnny. And Johnny's another one, can shoot the ball, learning to defend, learning to be the rebounder he can be because of his size. The best thing is when Johnny shoots it, everybody thinks it's in. Because he shoots the ball. Look, there are shooters and there are makers. We've had some makers, we've also had shooters here. You go 1 for 8. When he shoots it, you think the ball's going in. And he's a natural scorer. Khalil scores the ball naturally. Now, with those two, we got to get him to just every once in a while. Like, pass the ball. Throw it to somebody. When you hear their family story, you are rooting for this kid. When you hear the family story, I don't care what his background is. When you hear the story, you want this kid to do well. And he has an inner fire and a fight in him. And he's skilled and he's smart. Like, he'll come in and I said, what do you have to work on? And he'll tell me, I got to do this better, I got to do this better, but I cannot get away from what I do shooting the ball. Thank you. Just thank you. We haven't had that, where we throw it to a guy and they can consistently, we know, they play zone and he goes in. If he's open, he's letting it go. We haven't had that. To be honest, he's like a stretch four. He shoots it, good with the ball. It's nice having a veteran that talks. I mean, he over-talks. He tries to get the guys to talk. You know, he can play some five, but if you play him at five, you're going to stretch the court with him as a five and probably post somebody else. But he's good in the post. You know, Reed was just a physical. Nate lost 25 pounds. So he's at, what, 235 right now, and physically in great shape and running, and he's really been a great addition to this group. Yeah, he's physically stronger, he's doing better, he's more consistent with his skills. You know, one of the things I sat him down and we talked about was understand that PJ did all these things, but he changed his approach to this. PJ finished first in every conditioning. PJ pushed himself physically. PJ was a better leader. He wasn't looking to what's the least amount I can do, what's the most I can do, can I do more, can I stay after, what can I do? A lot of this becomes changing your approach to this. And EJ's walking through that. But at the end of the day, what he does and how he plays, like I was on him about free throws. We're going to put the ball in your hands. You got to make free throws. And so there are things that he's got to be more consistent with, but he is a talent. Long, active. We saw him last year where we're all saying, how does he get EJ more time? What do we do to get EJ more time? Well, guess what? He's going to get more time.
How does that sit with you?
Did I have to do that?
Yes.
I did?
Yes.
With who? My wife was mad. I had to explain it to her. You don't get to the Final Four every year, and there's times buzzer beaters knock you out in overtime games, and you move on to the next group. But she didn't understand. I'm like, you crazy? It's how it is. Look, our fans are crazy, and I love them, but please don't take this wrong. I don't listen to them. I don't read it. Can I go Twitter, Facebook? I give you stuff and never look at anything that comes. Not one thing, never since I've been here. Do I? If you write me a letter and it's not addressed, it doesn't even make my desk. It's thrown away. If you have a letter, I'll respond. Usually it's I handwrite it. But here's what I do know about this position when you're coaching here. If you're worried about all that stuff, the clutter that's out there, you can't do this job and you can't be about the kids. You can't. You'll be under the desk in a fetal position. Your secretary will come in. Where'd he go? Coach, what are you doing under there? Come out of there. So this is not one for the faint of heart, whether you're playing here or coaching here. And that's the first I heard anybody was mad that we haven't done enough, didn't we?
I thought they were all happy.
I did too. I think, wait a minute, in 10 years, did we win the most games?
We have.
The most Final Fours?
Most Sweet 16s, most Elite 8s.
Elite Eights too? Oh, wow. Dude, how about SEC titles?
Yeah, 5 of them.
What about the tournament?
6, brother.
Damn. So, and I'm saying the next 10 got to be better. And they're saying, no, what enough? Woo!
Go around the right.
Well, we'll talk about Tyrese. Really a kid that I watched in high school, and I said he could be a triple-double because he can rebound, he can pass it, he can score, he can steal balls. I mean, there's a lot of things he does. And there'll have to be a point where he's got to step up and do the things he's capable of doing. I like how he's gone through this right now, and he and Ashton are going at it. And there are times I'm playing them together because they're going to be playing together a lot. But he's kind of like Jamal, and if you want to compare them, I would say it'd probably be Jamal as much as anybody else, who, again, we don't have volume shooters here that are taking 28 shots a game. It just won't happen. We got too many other players. But it doesn't mean they don't leave here and become volume shooters in the NBA. We got 7 of those. You don't have to be on the ball to play on the ball in the NBA. We're teaching you how to play basketball, how to play away from the ball, how to play off screens. So more of a Jamal Murray-ish. You remember where we put him on the baseline and put him in positions to score it and do things? But he's also really good in pick and roll. So, we got to figure things out. I mean, I told him, it's funny, I was putting together practice plans, and last year, the beginning of the practices, we were working on 3 offenses that by January, we weren't running anymore. So we were working on stuff that I thought would be good for that team, and the more we went, I said, that stuff's not going to work. So some of the stuff, I told him, there's things we're doing right now that we all may look at each other and say, this ain't good for our team, and we end up changing, but he's doing good.